Hello my beautiful friends, and welcome back to our channel and yet another video in our series on shoulds. Now in the last couple of videos we started to loosen our grip on what feels true in our should statements by asking essentially what else is true. What happens is when we hear a should statement, our brain often takes this and hears this as a truth. Should statements are cognitive distortions after all. Now the problem is when something feels true and it creates a very compelling emotion, we often can get stuck in that place and we can temporarily forget that we have other options, that other thoughts, that other concepts around the subject are also true. So in today's video, I want to give you a quick and simple experiment to use on your should statement that helps loosen that grip that the should statement has over you and therefore helps to get you unstuck. Because the biggest problem with should statements isn't that they're so difficult to dispute or that they are objectively true, but the problem is that when they come through our minds and they create this compelling emotion, we just feel stuck and we feel like we have no other option. And I want to develop a practice in you and eventually what becomes a skill, which is to be able to supervise, monitor your mind, notice, become alert to this should statement coming up and the stuck feeling. And in that moment, in that pause, recognizing that you have other options, other brilliant, amazing options that either progress you towards the goal that you have, which we talked about as one of the reasons why we hold on to shoulds, because we think that they're actually progressing us towards a goal, or to hold on to a standard, a value, to act within your value set to stay in your integrity. So here's the exercise. When you found a should statement that's affecting you in a way that you don't like, take that should statement and try on the thought that is the opposite. So if your should statement is the example that we've sort of used throughout this series, I should go to the gym. Try on the thought, I shouldn't go to the gym, and see what comes up. Now again, as we spoke about in these previous videos where we're doing the exercises like putting on the coat, go back and watch that video. If you're not sure what the coat exercise is, I'll pop it up as a link. But the idea here isn't to force yourself to think the new thought, but to try on the thought like a coat and see how it affects you. See what comes up emotion-wise. See how that emotion tends to compel your behavior, whether it's a certain way of thinking, whether it's, making you more risk adverse or opportunity seeking, or whether it makes you closed and focused on problems, or open and expansive, or looking for solutions, for example, ruminating on all thoughts, or whether that behavior is actually specific actions, whether it feels like that emotion compels you up and out to take actions, or whether it makes you feel small, constricted, and hide. So noticing how that opposite statement, I shouldn't go to the gym, affects your emotions and your behaviors when you try it on. And also noticing what other thoughts come in naturally, what other associated ideas you have in your memory that present themselves when you say this opposite statement. This is an exercise to explore and understand, not to force yourself to think a new thought. This exercise can be so impactful when that initial should statement can have you feeling so stuck and single-minded. It's cognitively very easy to simply swap a word from should to shouldn't to make the opposite statement, as opposed to doing some of the other exercises that we've tried, which can take a bit more imagination and creativity and willpower to be open enough to think about other alternative views. But this is very simple. So it's a very easy way to just get you unstuck in the first place. Now, after you've done this exercise of swapping to the opposite, you will have other information now, new thoughts, new ideas coming to mind, new emotional options and new behavioral options or tendencies that come with those new emotions. And now you get a chance to sort of pick from this smorgasbord of options that come up. At this point where you have more options available, you want to reorientate yourself back to the original goal of the should, or the good in the should. What did I want this should to do for me in the first place? Why is this should coming up? There's some kind of goal or standard that you're trying to adhere to, or perhaps there's some kind of value that should is trying to make you execute on or stay in integrity with. So now that you've got these other options for different thoughts and different emotions and behaviors that those thoughts create, you can look back, align them up with your goals and your values, and decide on which thought is most useful or desired to direct your mind to. Again, not forcing thoughts, only taking thoughts at this stage that you naturally believe, that feel true to you. Now, it's a very interesting concept as to what feels true to us. And that in itself is fraught with bias. But for today, we're kind of taking that lowest hanging fruit. We're looking at thoughts that you already believe. There is a big, brilliant, beautiful space in coaching to find thoughts, beliefs that are really useful in that they create emotions and behaviors that take us to where we want to go in life. And we do spend time building up a case for that belief system so you can have that naturally play out in your life, in your cognitive program. But that is definitely a place for another video or a place for a coaching consult to talk about what you want and what's possible for you. And of course, in our work one-on-one or in group coaching. I've been loving the group impact that we've had from the Shoulds Lab so far. We've got one session left. I am obsessed with this group. I'm obsessed with how they are opening up and being so vulnerable and supporting each other in the process. It's been so beautiful and reinvigorating and truly inspiring for me to see how one woman's willingness and vulnerability and authenticity can impact another's, and this kind of domino and flow and effect of that. It's all very exciting for me right now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found this swapping to the opposite exercise quite interesting, a nice, easy, low-hanging fruit option for you to jump to. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next one.